Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina, and happy Monday. Welcome to a brand new week of episodes, and actually a brand new month, so happy June. I hope that you're having a great day today. If your day has just begun, then I hope that you get so much done today, and it's just a good day. It's a good way to start off the week, start off the month, and just feel productive and feel good about yourself. If you are in the middle of your day or towards the end of your day, well, I hope it was great. I hope that you did feel productive and you did feel like you actually got stuff done, you accomplished things, you just felt like you got everything off to a good start. I love the beginning of a new week, of a new month. You just feel like it's brand new. It's like taking the seal off of something or opening something for the first time. It feels so good. But I hope that it's been great, and if it wasn't, then, take that 5 minutes, do the 5-minute reset that I always talk about. 5 minutes to yourself, to be alone, to, find some peace, to reground yourself, to reboot, come back to baseline. Think about some things that you are grateful for, reestablish that gratitude and humbleness, and come up with some problem-solving solutions for you to be able to tackle whatever things got in your way that's bringing you down. But just make sure to walk away from that reset time feeling at least neutral about the rest of your day, if not more positive, feeling more mindful about what thoughts you're having and how you're perceiving everything that's happening in your life. I am not here to diminish your feelings at all whatsoever. Just remember to go through those feelings, figure out what those mean to you and how it's going to help you, get through the situation, get through that experience. But then make sure that you walk away and actually, move forward. Don't let it hold you. Don't let those feelings and emotions hold you back for longer than they need to. But again, happy Monday. This week we are talking about habits for happiness. And when I was brainstorming topics, I thought it would be really great to talk about some things that would be beneficial to practice to create and cultivate more happiness in our life. And who doesn't need that? Especially right now. We're about to enter summer here in the US, and it's just so, in the Northern Hemisphere, let me say that. And it kind of feels weird because if you are still in the midst of lockdown, quarantine, self-isolation, whatever you want to call it, it cannot seem like it's summer. It cannot seem like a new season of life, of the year, anything like that. It just feels weird. And a lot of us are having trouble accepting that because some of us are kind of out there doing summery things like getting out on the lake or, out on a boat, going to the beach, resuming some normal activities, and a lot of us aren't. I live in Washington State, and we are safe. Stay home, stay safe is ending tomorrow, but we're still limited in what we can do. So sometimes it can be really hard to actually genuinely feel happy and excited for life when, there's lots of restrictions put on us. So I thought that I would focus this week on habits for you to cultivate more happiness in your life despite what's going on in the world right now. So today, Monday, we are going to talk about what's your why for your life, because this is one of the most important things to establish in your life for you to be able to cultivate happiness. And I feel like if you know your why, then you can always find that true happiness inside you despite anything else. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Finding and reminding yourself of your why for your life is one of the best ways to establish and cultivate happiness in your life because it continually reinforces your purpose and direction in life. Your why can also be referred to as your purpose in life. Those things, when I talk about that, that'll be interchangeable because the why for your life, like why are you doing this or that, or why are you doing it this way, or why have you chosen this journey, this path, these decisions, those all work into like your purpose and your passion and what you're trying to do to structure your life and to create the life that you want. So you are continuing to remind yourself what's more important and the reason you do most of the things in your life. So ultimately, your why is the real reason why you are doing what you're doing. As I said before, how you are living your life, what journey you are creating for yourself. And I've talked previously about how knowing your why relates to creating smart goals and achieving said goals. But a few points for what you will gain when you know your why. First, it helps you to focus on your goal. It's your own personal motivation and internal encouragement. It will also help you stay focused on achieving your goal and be pulled away from any distractions. So when you are intent on achieving a goal and running that race of hitting all those milestones in between, being able to finally achieve whatever it is, whether it's like a degree at school or some sort of training or saving money to be able to open your own business, or being able to rack up enough hours practicing whatever it is, like if you're trying to be a counselor or a coach or something like that, and getting that experience racked up. It's just focusing in on whatever goal it is, that why, that reason why you're continuing to move forward. It is like knowing your why inside is your own personal motivation. If you continue to remind yourself of that, it's internal encouragement. It's like, okay, why am I doing this? For this reason. Okay, let's continue to move forward. It's like truly in your heart, your why is that thing that continues to burn so bright. And it's also something that people can easily like see in you and just notice about you. Those passions and purposes, they just I don't, the first word I thought of it was like ooze, but that sounds really disgusting. They just like emanate and just like beam from you, it's like a glow coming out of you. And also, if you are focused in on your goals and what your purpose is and how you need to get there, it will help you to not be as distracted, because you're continuously reminding yourself why you're doing this. What is the purpose? Where are you gonna continue looking forward and seeing where you're gonna be in the end? Then you're like, okay, these distractions are not worth my time and effort. Knowing your why also contributes to becoming more passionate about your goals and not giving up on them when things get tough. You can see a faint picture of what the end result will be, which is exciting and reignites drive. So like I said, you'll be able to look forward into the future and kind of see how you believe things will work out, and they could work out as you think, maybe better, maybe a little different depending upon what opportunities and experiences come up. But despite that, you just become more passionate, more excited, and then when there are hiccups along the way, troubles, growing opportunities, you're still going to keep going because this thing burns so deeply in you and, emanates so much excitement that you're not going to give up. And even if you think about giving up, ask yourself, but if I give up, then what else am I working towards? What else am I, living for? Like truly with your whole body and mind and spirit, like what are you living for? And there's many other things that can be encompassed in our life that are not just working towards our passion and our why, because there could be things that are like separate. But I feel like, I personally believe like all of those things culminate together. So you might be like, well, you can still live for your family, or you can still live for God, or you can still live for your kids. And yes, you definitely can, but I feel like that all comes into the why, because everything inside of you is driving towards, not completing, because I feel like once you hit your purpose and passion, you're still continuing to grow and learn and become even better and better. But you're just hitting that first step of finally stepping into your purpose and that why that's in you, why you're driving so hard. So, but yeah, I just believe that, if you just continue to focus on the goal, and it'll just continue to re-excite you and reignite that drive inside you. And knowing your why will establish and flourish gratitude. I talk about gratitude all the time, but I love it. It's hard to not be filled with gratitude when you're going after your purpose and passions. Being happy with your life and the progress you're making will cause your gratitude to overflow into other things and people in your life. It's hard for it not to. Even if you are experiencing setbacks and problems, you're still excited. You're still grateful that you're on the path that you're on. And if you're not, I think you need to stop and reevaluate whether you are on the right path, if you're doing the right things. Maybe there's something in your life that's really just messing with things. If you're struggling with some sort of mental health issue of like constant depression or sadness, or maybe you have like toxic people in your life, things like that, or bad habits that continue to plague you, you might want to take a step back and deal with those and then carry on, so that you don't feel like you're doing this all for nothing, because those things are just clouding your vision. They're just clouding the why. They're not letting you fully see the potential and what is out there, like what the end result is going to be. So now let's talk about a quick overview of how to find your why. So if you don't know, because you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, I thought the thing that I was meant to do is this, but it doesn't feel like fulfilling, it doesn't feel like the right thing. So let's just talk about a few quick ways of how to find your why. First, think about what interests you without having to think too deeply. This should be outside of work, unless you are truly in love with your work and it relates to your true interests. So for me personally, the current job that I have right now, I'm just like an office manager at like an IT firm, and that definitely has nothing to do with my passion. If you did want to like really become really like minute about it, it definitely has to do with customer service, and I guess customer service has something to do with helping people. So sure, if you want to dive into the minutia of that, but in general, my work does not have anything to do with my why and what's in my heart. And so, for me going through this exercise, I would think, okay, what are my interests? My interests are mental health, psychology, everything that has to do with that, why people do what they do, why they think what they think, how certain actions, words, environments, experiences change people's mental health, and how it's so tough for certain people to understand mental wellness and be able to take those things in, while it's not hard for other people. And I can continue to go down that rabbit hole of like mental health and mental wellness, and then I also think, but I really like to help people, I really like to be there for people, I really like to listen to people, I really like to help people problem solve, and I really like to speak out and speak up about mental health issues and struggles, and how it's okay to have those struggles, and let people know that they can still go through all those struggles, but be able to flourish and grow and thrive in their life, and not feel like some sort of weird, statistic, odd, awkward person amongst everyone else. And so that's what you do. Like, you can, if you just let yourself, you just sit and maybe like meditate or sit quietly and let your mind wander a little bit, those things, if you don't already know them, will start to bubble up inside. Like, what gets you excited? What gets you just so full of joy? So just take some time to do that if you haven't. Also, think about anything you naturally immerse yourself in and that really brings you joy while doing it. So maybe you're super all about reading or writing, you like to make up stories, but you never really thought about yourself as a writer, or it was kind of a thing, but you felt like it wasn't a realistic thing, when it totally is realistic. Several people like self-publish, and that's definitely a possibility. Or maybe you really like to help people with their taxes, but you never really thought about creating a business surrounding that, or accounting, and maybe you like truly enjoy it, but you might feel like awkward or embarrassed about it, or because maybe people will always give you a hard time because you never really understood math growing up, but now it just totally and utterly makes sense. Like, whatever it is, think about what you just spend a lot of your time doing. Maybe you spend some time like writing your own songs, or making videos, or taking photos, or maybe you like to organize. You could definitely make a career out of professionally organizing for people, picking out outfits, designing outfits, like kind of DIYing on your own time at home. Like, really think about what you immerse yourself in, what brings you joy and happiness, even if it's just the smallest of things. Like, for me, I just creating content for people that could help even just one person has always brought me joy, and I think that's why I try to do it in so many different mediums and facets, because I just want to help people as much as I can, and that's the thing that brings me the most joy. In addition to that, next, ask yourself if there is anything that you do now that you could see yourself doing all the time. Like, if you ever have any free time, what is the one thing that you always want to spend your time on? So for me right now, I feel like it kind of changes with the season, but still goes into the theme of mental health and mental wellness. But for me right now, it's like if I have any free time, I'm wanting to edit the videos that I'm creating for YouTube, or I want to do research on topics for the next set of podcast episodes, or, I want to read articles on, certain mental health diagnosis. I want to figure out the best way to coach people through sort of like stress episodes, or when you're just having attacks, like panic attacks, anxiety attacks, being able to help people come back to baseline. Like, those are the things that I really spend time, like, thinking deeply about. And if I have extra time, those are the things that I'm immersing myself in. So think about that. Think about what you're always like drawn to. Like, even if you have just an extra 10 or 15 minutes, you're like, and it's not involved in Netflix, but maybe you spend a lot of time on Netflix and all the streaming services because you want to be someone that reviews shows or movies or writes articles about them, or how, that stuff is derived from the world that we are right now and how it's like a criticism on that, or whatever it is. So you know what I mean. And, next, what do you spend your time researching about? Whether it be in books, podcasts, or videos, it's likely what you spend your time learning more about is your purpose and your why. So for me, like I said, I do spend time listening to podcasts about self-help and, basics of psychology and things like that. I do read books on those kind of things, like, Brene Brown, or I like to listen to like Jessica Simpson's biography. And I feel like listening to people's biographies and just having them tell their story about how they got through this, that, and the other just is really like a great way to understand how, even though these people are like popular and celebrities and whatnot, it still gives you an insight into their life and what they did. And the people that are actually really super honest, like Jessica Simpson is in her biography, it just really opens up another like idea of like, wow, that is like what she did and what she was struggling with, and it's so good. And so that's what I spend my time doing. And when I watch videos, I'm watching how other people are being able to present information and counsel people and help people. And so that is what I spend a lot of my time researching. Maybe you spend a lot of time researching how to write the perfect song, or how to, do really good video edits, or take the perfect photo, or whatever it is, or do best business accounting. It doesn't matter what it is. Just really think about what it is that you spend your time researching, and that could definitely give you a really big hint to your purpose and your why. Your why doesn't have to be something you need to work at necessarily. It can be something that you are already naturally good at or have skills in. And obviously, I feel like this is a really obvious point, but sometimes people think that, you might have something that's blooming in your heart and it's always been there and it continues to blossom more and more, but you don't think that you're good at it. Like that could definitely be true, or it could definitely be something that you are naturally good at and you just thought that it's something that you put to the wayside because it never seemed like a realistic thing for you to go after and try to achieve as a goal. So consider that. You don't necessarily have to start from scratch. If you're already really good at it, if you're already like naturally good at like coaching kids for sports, and maybe you want to be a coach, maybe you want to go out and be like someone that scouts, or maybe you're really good at just taking photos naturally, or you're really good at sewing and coming up with great outfits. Maybe you can be a stylist. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're really good at a video game and you want to go pro. Like, I feel like the opportunities are endless, and I just want you to know that it could just be something that you're naturally good at, and that doesn't mean you need to throw it to the wayside because you're already really good at it, because we could always continue to grow and learn no matter what it is for the rest of our lives. Until we leave this earth, we can continue to grow and learn and become our best selves. So lastly, what gives you a sense of value, pride, and true excitement inside? These questions will also help you tap into what your purpose is. Maybe you haven't taken the time to really think these through, but if you do, you should see it clearly. So, what is just like filling you with that pride that that you spend time learning about, that you spend time like really dwelling on, what gives you excitement and value. And truly for me, being able to write my notes and come up with ideas for podcast episodes and sit down and actually record the podcast like I'm doing right now truly gives me some excitement. I love it. It fills me with so much joy to talk to you guys and really get my heart out there and talk through things and hope that what I'm saying makes sense. It's not a jumbled mess and, really actually help someone going through any sort of troubles or issues or just struggles, just those things that kind of plague us in life that sometimes we feel lost and don't know what to do and need a little bit of support, encouragement, inspiration, motivation, help. And that's fine. So just think about and ask yourself those questions: value, pride, true excitement, and it should definitely, help you center on like your why and your passion and what it is and what your purpose is. So I'm going to end it right there. So thank you so much for coming back and listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. Happy Monday. Please, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that this podcast really helped you. I encourage you to check the description box for any notes for the show, including where you can find me on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or you can send me an email, or you can now visit my updated website at sabrinajoy.com. Yeah. So that weird. But anyway, I hope that you have a great day. If you really enjoyed this episode and you know anyone else that would, I encourage you to share it as well. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.